When she chooses the wrong man, it's rarely about what you did or didn't do. It's about her not recognizing your value in the moment. Most women don't understand the weight of a strong, confident man until they experience the emptiness of a choice that doesn't serve them. They make decisions based on convenience, comfort, or the illusion of excitement. And it's only later, when reality hits, that they understand what they gave up. The lesson isn't taught through arguments, texts, or explanations. It's taught through experience. She has to feel the consequences of her choice. And your role is to remain steadfast in your life, your purpose, and your standards. When you step back, when you refuse to chase or plead, you allow reality to do the teaching. Silence becomes your most powerful tool because it forces her to confront her decision without distraction. The moment she experiences disappointment or frustration with her choice, the contrast becomes undeniable. She begins to realize that what she walked away from was not ordinary, not replaceable, and certainly not someone who would tolerate being treated lightly. She faces the truth she chose wrong, and it's costing her the man she once had, the man who brought stability, clarity, and high value into her life. It's important to understand that her realization won't come immediately. Humans, especially women, rarely learn lessons instantly. She will initially justify her decision, rationalize the mistakes, and cling to the temporary excitement of a less valuable option. But as days, weeks, or even months go by, the discomfort of her choice grows. She starts noticing patterns. Her new man lacks leadership. He's inconsistent. He doesn't match her energy, and he can't deliver the confidence and emotional security she once had with you. Each disappointment becomes a layer of regret, slowly building until it becomes impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, you continue living in alignment with your values, pursuing your purpose, maintaining your standards, and reinforcing your own worth. Your presence isn't diminished by her absence. If anything, it's magnified by the way you hold your life together while she struggles with the consequences of hers. This contrast, this reality check, is what plants the seeds of regret. You don't need to explain yourself, send reminders, or justify your actions. Your life, your discipline, your unwavering standards speak louder than any words ever could. By letting reality be the teacher, you empower her to recognize her mistake without you having to do the hard work for her. The more she experiences the consequences of choosing wrong, the more she will reflect internally on what she lost. Regret is inevitable when the lesson is real and unavoidable, and that regret is far more effective than any attempt to persuade or convince her with words. In the end, the truth is simple. She made the choice, and now she must live with it. Your role is to stay solid, stay confident, and let the universe teach her the cost of her decision. That's when she starts to truly understand what she gave up. The moment you step back and stop chasing, you create the contrast she didn't even realize existed. Most women live in a world of illusions, believing that the first man who gives them attention or affection is the ultimate prize. They don't see the difference between someone who's consistent, confident, and purpose driven and someone who is reactive, insecure, or simply convenient. When you stop being readily available, when you stop reacting to her emotions or trying to fix the mistakes she made, you become the benchmark she can no longer ignore. Suddenly, she begins to notice what she walked away from, not just the actions you took, but the energy you carried, the stability you provided, the confidence you radiated. This contrast is the mirror that reflects her poor choices back to her, and it's far more powerful than any argument or explanation. Women respond to reality, not to words. She doesn't need you to tell her she chose wrong. She needs to feel it, see it, and recognize it through experience. When she compares her current situation with the life she had with you, every flaw in her choice becomes magnified. She starts noticing the inconsistencies, the lack of leadership, the absence of emotional strength, and the way her current man fails to match your energy and presence. Each disappointment with him becomes a reminder of what she lost with you, and each reminder fuels the natural process of regret. You don't have to manipulate or create situations for this to happen. Your mere withdrawal, your steady life, and your unwavering self respect are enough to expose the truth. Contrast works quietly but effectively. While she's wrapped up in temporary excitement or false comfort, the difference between you and her current choice becomes undeniable. The beauty of this strategy is that you don't need to chase her or justify your worth. In fact, chasing or pleading only diminishes the contrast and prolongs the lesson. By living your life at a higher level, pursuing your purpose, improving yourself, and maintaining your standards, you inadvertently demonstrate what she lost. Your success, your happiness, and your emotional independence act as a magnet she can't resist. She begins to reflect on the life she had and the man she left behind, and that reflection is where desire and regret merge. It's in that space of comparison that the seed of longing grows. Regret doesn't happen instantly. It grows quietly, subtly, until it can no longer be ignored. When she feels the weight of her decision, when she senses the void of what she gave up, she begins to rethink her actions and her priorities. And you never had to say a word. Contrast, the silent, natural comparison between what she chose and what she lost is the most powerful tool a man has in situations like this. It does all the work that words, arguments, or explanations could never achieve. One of the most powerful truths about relationships is that regret grows exponentially when you refuse to chase, beg, or explain yourself. Many men make the mistake of thinking that talking, justifying, or pleading can fix a woman's poor choices, but in reality, it only diminishes your value in her eyes. A woman learns her most important lessons through experience, not through words. And the harder you try to convince her, the less effective that lesson becomes. When you step back, when you maintain your boundaries, and when you refuse to compromise your dignity to soothe her ego or win her back, you create a space where regret can grow naturally. Silence becomes your strongest weapon because it forces her to confront the consequences of her actions on her own. She starts thinking about the man she walked away from, the consistency, the confidence, and the emotional stability that is no longer in her life. And slowly, the truth begins to settle in. It's not just silence, it's purposeful withdrawal combined with living a high value life. When you continue to focus on your goals, your passions, and your personal growth, she sees the contrast between the life she imagined and the reality she's now living. Each step you take forward without her, each moment of happiness and success you achieve independently, reminds her of what she lost and what she cannot replace. The human mind is wired to notice gaps, absences, and losses, and when she experiences your absence, regret becomes unavoidable. She begins to realize that her choice has consequences, not because you told her, but because reality is teaching her in the most impactful way possible. Your lack of reaction, your refusal to chase, and your commitment to your own standards all communicate one thing clearly: you are not available on her terms, and she cannot control you. It's important to understand that this process is gradual. At first, she may try to distract herself, rationalize her choice, or cling to temporary excitement, but the longer she experiences disappointment or inconsistency in her new situation, the more the contrast between you and her current choice becomes undeniable. She begins to feel the weight of what she let go, the man who truly matched her energy and understood her value. And because she didn't earn you through patience, effort, or respect, the regret she feels is pure and untainted. It's not colored by explanations or excuses. By stepping back and refusing to chase, you allow her to experience her own mistakes in a way that no words or persuasion ever could. You let reality, not emotion or argument, do the teaching. She starts to understand her loss at a deeper level, realizing that what she walked away from was not ordinary, not replaceable, and certainly not available at her convenience. Regret grows quietly but powerfully, shaping her thoughts and feelings until she cannot ignore the truth any longer. And when she finally recognizes her mistake, it will be because you gave her space to feel it, not because you forced her to see it. One of the most undeniable ways a woman begins to reconsider her choice is when she sees you leveling up without her. Growth, improvement, and purpose are magnetic qualities that no one can ignore. And when she witnesses you becoming a better version of yourself, it forces her to reflect on what she lost. She begins to realize that the man she walked away from was not stagnant, not ordinary, and certainly not replaceable. Every positive change you make, whether it's improving your physique, advancing your career, or simply becoming more confident and self assured, sends a silent but powerful message you are moving forward in life, and she is no longer a part of that momentum. This contrast, more than anything else, triggers internal regret because she starts seeing what she gave up in real time, and she knows she can't replicate it. Leveling up is not about showing off, it's about becoming the best version of yourself, living by your standards, and staying aligned with your purpose. When she observes your life improving without her influence, she experiences a mix of emotions, envy, longing, and eventually realization. She notices the difference between the man she chose and the man she let go. She begins to feel the weight of the opportunities she missed, not just in moments of reflection, but in the day to day energy you carry that she can no longer tap into. Every accomplishment you achieve, every step forward you take reinforces the fact that she made a mistake. And unlike words, which can be ignored or rationalized, your actions cannot be denied. They are tangible proof of the life she forfeited. This is also a moment of emotional contrast. While she may have chosen someone who is inconsistent, insecure, or emotionally unavailable, she now sees the stability, confidence, and calm assertiveness you embody. That contrast creates a quiet tension inside her. She begins comparing what she thought she wanted with what she actually had and begins to question her decisions. Your focus, discipline, and self respect make it clear that your life continues to move forward with or without her. And that reality is difficult for her to ignore. The more she witnesses your growth, the more she feels the gap between her choice and what she lost. It's important to remember that she cannot manufacture the respect, confidence, or energy you exude. She can only reflect on it, admire it from a distance, and start to feel regret. The combination of your disappearance and your upward trajectory becomes an irresistible lesson. She begins to recognize that she left someone who was steadily improving, someone who was aligning their life with purpose and vision, someone whose presence brought value that cannot easily be replaced. And in that recognition, desire starts to resurface. She begins to understand that her loss was not minor, it was monumental. When she sees your life thriving without her, the pull of regret grows stronger, and her thoughts inevitably return to what she once had. A woman's greatest fear, whether she admits it or not, is the emotional distance of a man she once had. Regret transforms into desire when she senses that you have emotionally moved on and are no longer accessible on her terms. She may have left or made a choice that doesn't honor your value, but when she sees that her absence doesn't shake you, her mind begins to replay moments she took for granted. This is when the quiet tension starts to build inside her, the awareness that she may never experience your consistency, confidence, and presence the way she did before. Emotional absence is one of the most powerful tools a man has, and it forces her to confront the reality that the life she imagined with you is no longer within reach. She begins to understand that her decision created a void she cannot fill. The moment she realizes that she cannot control your feelings, your attention, or your time, her mind starts to spiral. She begins thinking about what she lost, comparing her current situation with the life she once had, and imagining what could have been if she had chosen differently. This is the internal work that regret does. It doesn't need your explanations, texts, or confrontations. Her thoughts alone become a reflection of the choices she made. And when she sees you living fully, pursuing your purpose, improving yourself, and maintaining your standards, the contrast becomes undeniable. You are no longer the man waiting on her emotions or decisions. You are a man thriving independently. That realization ignites a longing that words could never create. Regret intensifies when she feels that someone else might be receiving what she abandoned. Emotional displacement, the idea that another woman could benefit from your attention, respect, and presence, triggers an instinctive competitive response. Her mind starts to question her choices. Why did I let him go? Could I have done things differently? What did I miss by walking away? She begins to sense the loss, not just intellectually, but emotionally, and the pull toward you grows stronger. This is the power of non reaction self respect. The more she feels she can't access you, the more she realizes your value. It's essential to understand that this process cannot be rushed or forced. She must arrive at the conclusion herself, feeling the weight of her mistake and the contrast between what she has and what she lost. The more she experiences disappointment, inconsistency, or lack of fulfillment in her current choice, the more intense the longing becomes. By remaining steadfast, emotionally independent, and focused on your purpose, you allow her to confront her regret in the purest form. Your life becomes the standard she can no longer ignore, and her internal reflection grows into a powerful desire to reclaim what she once had. When regret turns into desire, it is inevitable that she begins thinking about coming back, not because of your pleading chasing or explanations, but because she feels the absence of a man who truly matched her emotionally, mentally, and physically. Emotional distance combined with your growth and independence ensures that the lesson is felt deeply and personally. A woman only truly returns when she senses that you are no longer easily accessible. She doesn't chase what she can have without effort. Human nature, especially in relationships, is wired around the principle of scarcity. People desire what feels unattainable or earned, not what is freely given. The moment she recognizes that your time, energy, and presence are no longer guaranteed, the seed of longing takes root. She starts to imagine how different her life would have been if she had chosen wisely, and that imagination grows into an urgent desire to reclaim what she lost. This isn't about manipulation or gamesmanship. It's about letting reality teach her the value of a man who respects himself and his own standards. When you step back and create boundaries, you're not punishing her. You are giving her the space to feel the weight of her choices. She begins to notice how your absence affects her life. She recalls the consistency, the confidence, and the emotional stability you provided. She compares it to the uncertainty, frustration, or lack of fulfillment she experiences now. Each moment of reflection strengthens her understanding that she made the wrong decision, and every time she tries to fill the void, she realizes it can't be replicated. The lesson becomes undeniable, and in that realization, her desire to return emerges. She feels a mixture of regret, longing, and admiration all at once. Your silence and independence are not cold. They are powerful signals that you are a man with purpose, discipline, emotional self control, qualities she cannot ignore or replace easily. It's also crucial to understand that her return doesn't happen on your timeline, it happens on hers. She must experience enough disappointment, contrast, and absence to fully comprehend the value of what she left behind. If you chase her or attempt to coax her back before she reaches that point, you diminish the effect of your absence and the lessons reality is teaching her. The key is to remain firm, maintain your boundaries, and continue living your life at a higher level. Every day she sees your independence and fulfillment without her, the more she begins to appreciate what she let go of, the stronger, more purposeful, and more attractive your life becomes. The more undeniable her need to reconsider her decision grows. When she finally reaches the point where regret turns into action, she begins to take steps toward reclaiming the connection she abandoned. She may reach out, attempt to reestablish contact, or show renewed interest, but this occurs not because you begged, chased, or explained yourself, but because reality did all the work. Your consistency, your boundaries, and your growth created a force that words could never replicate. She returns when she sees that she can no longer take you for granted, that you are no longer readily available, and that the opportunity she lost was genuine, rare, and significant. The truth is simple: when a woman feels the real absence of a man who embodies confidence, purpose, and emotional strength, she will naturally be drawn back. Your role is to remain solid, let reality teach her, and allow regret to finish the work that persuasion never could.